everybody. Head coach Chris Grassie. He will give an opening statement and then take questions. Coach, opening statement on the big match coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a huge match for us. Obviously, you take to the side that it's WVU Marshall, and just for what it means for the conference. We drew our first game, so we need that first conference win. 3 points on the line. Two of the teams that were predicted to be at the top of the conference. So it's just a huge game, and then you throw in, the fact that it's WVU Marshall. It's just such a big occasion for us, such a big occasion for our fans, such a big occasion for them. I mean, they really need this one. So it's going to be such an intense battle, and I think it doesn't really matter if we'd lost the last five or we'd won the last five, and they'd lost the last five. It doesn't matter. The form. It's a rivalry game. That all goes out the window. It's a one-off type of game that will be its own event.
Coach, is soccer different like that than maybe other sports because you can get it back pretty quickly even if you're not in good form?
Yeah, I think soccer's a weird game at times with like the low scoring nature of it. So you can be better. As I believe we were when we played Butler, we were way better. We had lots of chances. We just couldn't score. They score one goal and win the game. And so everything we work on in training is a can be thrown out the window if you lose the game if you're not careful, right? So you want to kind of keep that. And WVU in the games that they've lost, I think they've been the better team in maybe all but one of them. Outshot, had an XG that's higher than the opposition, so they should have scored more goals. It's just kind of they've been a little bit unlucky, and that's our sport. Sometimes they've been so low scoring. One goal can kind of turn it here or there. One mistake can be punished, and so they could really use this game to turn their season around, and so we have to be careful of that. And for us, it's we're kind of been building to this all season in terms of the quality of opposition we've been playing. This is kind of our major match, so this could turn everything. You're right.
You mentioned the conference opener for you guys against Kentucky. Some missed chances there, and call at the end that kind of didn't go in your guys' favor. How do you shake that off and move forward? Keep that out of your head as you move forward.
Yeah, I think we've talked to the guys all season about this is about us. If we perform, right? I yelled at the guys. We were winning 4-1 against Pacific at halftime, and I yelled at the guys because I thought the effort had come down, the intensity had come down, and we have to maintain a certain level. Same thing with Kentucky, right? We had some really sort of meetings where we laid ourselves bare. We made mistakes against Kentucky. We didn't defend very well against Kentucky. We didn't play our style of play. We didn't play with that confidence, and so we've chatted about it, and we've kind of gone back to basics. This week about playing sort of the Marshall way, about keeping the ball, moving the ball well, and having that confidence on the ball, and then how we defend. So it has been a reset for us this week. We have to address the issues, the things that happened at Kentucky that we weren't pleased with, but the players weren't pleased either. So these were genuine conversations that we had, and then we looked at the video and we pointed out we can't do this. Here's why. This is what we were trying to do. This is what we didn't do. So readdress all of that stuff. And then that's soccer, right? So that's the beginning of the week, and then we build up. We set little challenges. We achieve those challenges. So we should feel like $1 million going into this game because we've performed really well in the last couple of days. And then we had a really good video session today, just with the final little touches, and then hopefully we have a good session tomorrow before we go into it.
Matthew Bell, coming on the scene really quick. Yeah, I think most people will agree with you at the beginning of the season, but now everybody probably knows his name by now.
Yeah, I think after the weekend he was the leading goal scorer in the country, but he's a very smart player, very dangerous player, but he's a part of the team, right? And the team feed him the balls in those situations, and he's just taking advantage of it, And I think there's some great players around him who are able to get the ball to him in those decisive situations. I think it was Milo and Meshi and Vinny who sort of got them the ball for that goal against Kentucky. But fair play to him. I mean, he's an incredible striker with pace and skill with both feet to finish that. He can score goals, but that's really maybe the piece we've been missing is that sort of out-and-out goal-scoring centre forward. And he's kind of added that to the team this year, and I think it makes us a very, very dangerous contender.
Coach, what kind of atmosphere? Obviously, football's away. I think I heard the standing room only tickets are being sold now. So you expect a big gathering, which is always helpful in the rivalry game.
Yeah, it's, the pressure of the game is huge, but we know the support's going to be even bigger. The support will match. I know there's going to be lots of festivities with tailgates going on, before the game, and bounce houses and DJs, and it's a big event, and that was sort of my dream in taking over the program, that we have more events. You know, we had a couple thousand against Pittsburgh, and we had a nice environment, and this will take that to the next level. Obviously, being a big in-state rivalry, but it's just such an amazing time. It looks like a great atmosphere. It's one of those games I wish I could, you know, set the team up and then go sit in the stands and drink a beer with the fans and have a good time, because it really is. And look, we're so thankful for the support that it makes the college soccer experience for these guys on our team. We feel the support, we feel the love, and it gives us that energy to drive on it and let us achieve, you know, the things that we've been able to achieve.
With that, you feel like, as we talked in the summer, how good this league's going to be. It's West Virginia, so you don't have to give your guys locker room material, right? I mean, the stakes are really high for this.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to need to do a pre-game speech to motivate them for this one. I think that's sort of going to be taken care of just by the nature of the game.
You mentioned the Pittsburgh match here. Obviously, you two share some commonality in an opponent there, both having played Pitt. Pitt kind of handled West Virginia in their matchup. Is there anything you can take from that film and maybe say, oh, hey, here's how West Virginia's going to attack us differently than they did against the Panthers?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that's definitely, we've looked at sort of all of the games that obviously WVU play, and we are able to see, okay, this is whether they will maybe weaker against this sort of shape or this sort of tactic, and this is where they were stronger. So yes, we've definitely looked at that. The Pitt game, obviously, they were able to score some goals. I think, in fairness to WVU, I think a couple of them were probably freak goals or like one individual mistake that kind of led to those goals. But we definitely see some other areas that we can exploit and we can replicate and take into the match. But as we have from, you know, other games, I mean, we've gone back a couple of seasons to when we played them at their place. We've gone back to, you know, last season when they played Tulsa away. We've gone through a lot of the games, a lot of the sort of the WVU matches to find consistent themes of weakness. And look, WVU are obviously, I'm close with their coach. You know, no secret there. But you know, they're a very, very good team, very organised. They don't give up a ton of chances. But you know, we feel like we have the group and the dangerous group with Milo, Matthew Bell, you know, Messi, João Pedro, Vinny, those guys who can really exploit them. And we think there's certain areas where we can really get to them.
Luke asked earlier about Matthew Bell, and you've talked about Milo and Joel. You have 3 players right now who are all top 6 in the Sun Belt Conference in total goals scored.
Yeah.
How having that diverse of an offensive attack, how beneficial is that?
I mean, it's great. I think it's the differences that the players bring. You know, not everybody can start. You know, you got Ibra as well, Alex Ajeti coming off the bench too. That we're able to give them, you know, a different look. Like, you know, one player could represent, you know, if they go to boxing terminology, they could represent a jab, 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 jab. And then all of a sudden you're throwing hooks at them with a different player who gives them a different look and gives them, you know, somebody's running on the outside, somebody's coming on the inside. So we have a lot of different looks that we're able to use to maybe off balance an opposition, and then obviously we have dangerous goal scorers. So when we do off balance them and create that chance, we are more than likely going to score goals.
You mentioned sort of the spectacle nature of this match coming up. It's turned into a big event.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not lost on anybody that when the 2 Division I programs in the state lock up, it's a big deal for a lot of people. How do you internally maybe manage those emotions with the team so they don't get too fired up and in the first 15 minutes?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, and we've definitely given some thought in terms of managing emotions. You have to let the emotions kind of play over you a little bit. You have to absorb that energy from the crowd and the rivalry, and they're going to come out firing, right? I mean, that's just the kind of the nature of college soccer. Is that first 5 to 15 minutes is kind of this intense battle where everybody's, you know, keyed up and ready to go. So we have to acknowledge that that's going to happen, and then just make sure that we don't lose our heads in those first 15 minutes. That we take energy from the crowd and we kind of take it and make it a slow burn, you know, throughout the game.
I'll hit you with one more question. Why not? Luke McCormick, he scored in the 4th minute against ranked Portland in their last match. Although West Virginia did fall, quick early goal. Obviously, having faced West Virginia, you know, consecutive seasons, you all know what to expect with that guy. I mean, he's good player.
Yeah.
How does he challenge your back line on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean they've got an interesting shape and formation, and I think, you know, Luke's a very good player, a very good dribbler, very good on the ball, and he takes up, you know, sometimes an inside 10 position, sometimes a wing position. So, you know, we've obviously worked on that and identified where their strengths are and how we deal with certain situations. So it's not really, you know, not really too much to worry about. You know, we know they got good players, and you know, just as Kentucky had good players, we just prepare for them in the same way here. Look, these are the dangers. This is what we have to be aware of. We do A, B, and C. We'll be fine. You know, if we go crazy, we won't be fine. You know, it's kind of that's the nature of the job. You know, just kind of talking through the players. Like, this is a threat. This is how we deal with it. On to the next one, right? Ideally, we want to have the ball for the entirety of the 90 minutes and score 5 goals and don't let them touch it. But you know, that's kind of that's the ideal. And then we don't have to worry about defending at all.
All good, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. That was cool.